is generally known as quantities of currency borrowed by a country that is beyond its ability to repay. Therefore, it can occur when the country is unable to produce and sell goods with profitable returns. That sustainability is defined by the Development Finance International Group as the capacity of a country to assume its debt obligations without needing debt relief or accumulating errors. It is an extremely important element in a country's economy because it is directly related to government's capacity of investment and to the attraction of private investment to the domestic market. One recent example of how external debt can be crucial was the recent case of Argentina versus Elliott Associates, judged by the U.S. Supreme Court. Elliott Associates won the case, and the U.S. Supreme Court also decided that Argentina had to pay all its creditors at the same time. This created a situation that Argentina couldn't borrow money from anywhere else, and also created a bizarre situation where a country had to declare bankruptcy. In recent times, countries have reflected more and more about the consequences and possible solutions to external debt, particularly on the reality of the least developed countries. Debt can be a big obstacle to economic and social progress and can culminate on catastrophic consequences if it is not sustained and managed. Therefore, numerous international institutions besides the United Nations have looked on this issue attentively, especially after the economic crisis of 1990s. This crisis motivated the creation of the Heavily Indebted Poor Countries Initiative (HIPC), which was created in 1996 as a partnership between the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, with the objective of reducing external debt of the most heavily indebted countries to a sustainable level. This initiative has relieved the debt of 36 countries, including numerous countries from Africa, Afghanistan, Bolivia, Haiti, and others. In 2005, the G8 proposed a partnership between IMF, World Bank, and the African Development Fund to create the Multilateral Debt Relief Initiative, which would enhance the HIPC by canceling 100% of mostly heavily indebted countries that have reached a stage for full irrevocable debt relief. Despite the consensus on the progress these initiatives implemented, they faced three strong critics. First, the possibility of expelling investors in those countries once they could interpret as an unstable or inefficient market to invest. Second, they do not focus on what might be the real problem of those countries, the lack of strong government and public institutions. Finally, the process of debt reliefs and debt cancellation implemented by the IMF and World Bank could possibly justify interventions by those international organizations into aspects of national policy development and institutions that are beyond economic sphere. Moreover, UN resolutions also alert to the changing composition of the sovereign debt from an official to a commercial borrowing, and the increased number of creditors of all natures that could create new challenges of future management. In fact, according to the Global Development Finance of 2012, in the year of 2010, private creditors held $1.4 trillion within the composition of the debt, which means they represented 35% of the debt owned by developing countries. The United Nations have fostered other solutions to debt sustainability through policies of debt financing, debt reconstruction, creation of more flexible instruments such as the precautionary and liquidity line. A final main address on UN resolutions to this issue is the necessity of more information sharing, transparency, and analysis of debt scenarios. Credit rating agencies, debtors, and creditors should make more efforts to collect and exchange data of the debt and economic situation so countries can improve their economic management and overcome debts.